Welcome to Truth Talk. Several years ago, a worldwide pandemic kept us 6 feet apart. Remember social distancing? Tonight, we're going to unpack the quiet epidemic that no one's talking about that's going on right now. How social media is destroying Black love, Black unity, and Black intimacy. We used to build villages, remember that? Now we're just building brands. Social media is selling us connection, but is it killing our closeness, our intimacy, our community? Have we forgotten how to truly connect with each other? Behind the filters, the followers, and the fake love lies a deep, dangerous truth. We are lonelier than ever, and I know that personally. We've never been more connected because of the internet, while simultaneously feeling more alone on an individual basis. Tune in before the algorithm eats what's left of your humanity and mine. It's Truth Talks. Let's go.
Are y'all ready to roll? Let's go.
All right, truth tellers, let's get into it. Dimitri, I need your help in this introduction because there's some person who really just was kind of foul and I'm not talking to her and I don't want to make it public. I don't want to say it out loud. So you're going to introduce her because I'm not talking to her right now. But first, we have Dimitri Wiley in the building.
Hey, listen, pleasure to be here. I'm just here for introductions and purposes only. And I want to say, truth tellers, this is your favorite. This is Dr. Viral right here. This is the reason we're all here today. The one and only Paramaniacs exclusive.
Way too far.
Dr. B.
Pull it back. Pull it back. Pull it back in. Way too far.
Truth tellers.
That's terrible.
There's only one thing I'm going to do today, and that's going to tell you the truth. The other thing I'm going to do today is every time Torre talks, you might see the camera go like this. Because I do not want to be in proximity of anything he has to say. So I'm back.
You're hysterical, even though I don't love you. Judge Lauren Lake is also here. Welcome, my sister.
Hey, everybody.
So look, a lot is going on. We are a nation at war. I love most of you guys. Let's get into a good Truth Talks argument. Devale Ellis in Trending Truths is standing 10 toes down for Black women. The actor, creator, former NFL wideout, husband, father, and unfiltered voice behind modern Black manhood and love is teaching his sons to unapologetically love, honor, and marry Black women. That is beautiful. Let's take a look.
Not racist, but I do tell my sons, like, you have to love Black women, bro. We come from Black women. Yeah. If you don't love Black women, you don't love yourself. There you go. Like that's our motto. And if anybody got an issue with me telling my sons they have to love the very thing they come from, you can kick rocks. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, that ain't even a debate.
I want my sons to marry Black women.
Dimitri, what do you think about what he said? What do you think about the importance of our young men, Black men, marrying Black women, and the idea that we may have to somehow unlearn the notion that loving Black women is somehow less desirable?
I don't think that's something my son will have to unlearn. That's not something I had to unlearn. I personally have always loved Black women. I personally have only ever envisioned seeing myself marry a Black woman. And I know that may be a Truth Talks exclusive because somebody gonna be in the comment section like, I ain't Black, but the thing about it is, look, I gotta be honest, man. I was talking to my mother the other day about this. It's only ever what I envision seeing down the aisle. And I would love for my son to marry a Black woman. I think it's a privilege. It's an honor that a lot of people don't actually see the joy and the beauty in, not just because you came from a woman, because how much a woman gives, how much she teaches, how much of an inspiration and influence she is. That's just me. That's just me.
Now, oh my God. Oh my God. Dimitri is so beautiful. He's so amazing. He loves it. Judge, is it important to you that your son marry a Black woman or just that he find happiness?
It's important to me that he marries a Black woman. It is. And it's just because, first of all, it's important to me that he marries someone he loves and someone who loves him. But it is important to me that he let me be clear, that he doesn't exclude Black women from the women he wishes to marry. And in that way, yes, it is important to me. I would love to see that, only because in our society today, I think it's extremely problematic how much we see Black men just are being so vocal about why they don't want to be with Black women and why. And I'm not raising my son to discount the very vessel through which he came. That is a level of self-hatred, right? That is a little scary for me. And so while I am perfectly, and I've said this throughout time, I am fine. You love who you end up falling in love with. But what I'm hearing too much is there's a little pathology under there, and Doc can speak to it more. When you're consistently downgrading a Black woman, and I'm literally, that is the womb from which you came. But we can't do nothing right. We can't say nothing right. We can't. That to me is problematic. And I pray that my son rises above this new cultural phenomenon that I believe is rooted in self-hatred.
Doc, you've talked really beautifully about your father and how he's shaped so much of who you are. And I wanted you to talk a little bit about how he helps shape how the Black woman should be seen by the Black man in your eyes, and how he helped for your brother, for him to see Black women. And I don't even know what journey your brother is on, but you can illuminate. So like, your father has been so important to all you guys. And, you know, let's be real. He married a woman of color, but not a Black woman, right? But like an amazing woman, right? So like just talk about all of that in your life.
Yeah. And I believe that is why I don't care who my son marries, as long as she treats him great, honors him, and she loves him, and she's healthy for him. I don't care what race she is. But it has to be the hybridness of how my father did it. He has 6 of us by 5 different women, and none of them are Black. But never us as Black girls grew up in the house thinking that our Black wasn't beautiful or that we weren't valuable, because while he was able to be with who he was with, he was clear on loving his mother, loving Black women, teeing up us Black daughters, us Black women, and always showing me great examples of look at this Black woman, and look at this Black woman, and you're this beautiful Black woman. So there wasn't this confusion between me. So for me, as long as my son can still understand that he's choosing a woman who isn't Black because he organically fell in love with her because of how she respects and loves him, I have no problem with that. If he says my preference is non-Black woman because I have an issue with Black women, and he doesn't find it within himself to innately, naturally love Black women, I would take it as, baby, let's do some work together. I want to know where, as a mother, maybe did I make this relationship with the Black woman look a little skewed for you? Because that's called accountability. And I stand on a Black mom, a man is what his mama makes him. And if he doesn't like Black women, I will take accountability and say, baby, let's talk about it. Mama wants to be a part of reshaping that for you and helping you see it differently.
With your dad, do you think about how he clearly loves women of color and loves Black women and gave you a strong self-image as a Black and brown woman, but then consistently didn't choose Black women for his own romantic pairings? What do you think about that?
Well, interesting, because he would constantly say that in his experience that Black women's personality and his personality didn't always mix and click. And I can see why he said that, because he's extremely alpha. And my dad is not the man that has the great balance of the alpha submissive, right? He's very my way. This is how it goes. And this is the end of discussion. And so he has chosen women besides my mother, who has a very strong personality, twice as mine. Y'all would be in trouble if she was on True Talks. But he has chosen all the other women, seriously, who are Mexican or more in a very submissive type of personality that allowed him to just King Kong it. And they just did and said whatever he said, he did. It went with whatever he said in full submission. So for him, he was choosing a woman who would fully submit. He just never ran into a Black woman who he felt would just let him say, the sky is pink, and she would go with the flow of it. To that point, he always taught me on the flip side, baby, have a voice. And he always would tell me, I'm a great father, but I don't want you with a man like me. And that's something he did do. And that's why I said, if a parent is present doesn't mean they're healthy. A healthy parent is teaching you to say, listen, either do as I say and not as I do, or do as I do. And by him saying that, he was saying he didn't want me with a man who wouldn't allow me to have the value of my voice, because he understood that he wasn't respecting the voices of the women that he chose to be with. And that was just him being real and looking out.
That was really beautifully said. Thank you for that, and being really open about that. Lauren, I am suspicious of any man who says he has a problem with Black women. Any adjective you want to apply to all of Black women, I'm like, that's ridiculous. They're not all angry. They're not all hypermasculine. They're not all, you can find whatever level of femininity, whatever level of intelligence, whatever level of submission or alpha you want from you can find that among Black women. So when you say, I don't like Black women, I'm like, what's wrong with you? However, we do in this conversation have to take stock of white supremacy is constantly telling us that white women are more beautiful. And many of us are doing the conscious work, battling internal racism to say, no, I love the curly 3C hair. I love the wide noses. I love the brown. But the world is constantly telling, no. Kylie Jenner, beautiful blonde, blue eyes. Oh my God. So we have to work to continue to understand the beauty of Black women when the world, America, is constantly telling us, no, white women.
Okay. But that phrase you just used, we had to work to try to work. We are the standard. We are the original people. Okay. Everybody came from us. So that's the part for me that we've allowed this okie doke. And like I said, the colonizers playbook, the plantation pontification of the United States to play against the weak mind. Because those of us who know who we are know that we are the original people. With the beauty standard comes from us. All of the BBL and the this and the this is to start to look like a Black woman. This has been on from centuries, even down to the bustle on dresses. I read that was because European men were too attracted to the enslaved African women and our beautiful curvaceous bodies. So they started bustling dresses and doing all this, trying to look like they had figures.
Really?
Yes, I just
never
read
heard that.
I never heard it either. And I just read it and I said to myself, my Lord. So what I'm concerned about, to your point, Teray, is that we do live in a society that constantly bombards us with other images to say that's more beautiful. This is what is preferred, right? And to our point in one of our earlier shows, as we talked about something dealing with mental health and relationships, I think we get ourselves into a place where we start allowing our children to buy into these things because we get a little passive in, I think we're a little passive in demanding and requiring that our young people, our younger generation understand the power of who we are and the beauty of who we are, the genius of who we are. We've gotten a little laxed on that and let the world take over and make us feel like we're somehow less than. Like I was never raised to think that Black was anything but beautiful. And I come from a family I didn't even understand colorism until I stepped outside of my family into the world, until everybody really thought my cousin was more beautiful and I was the smart one because I was the brown one. That didn't happen in my family unit. And I think we have to bring that strength back and the value of who we are and the beauty of who we are, because it's sad to me that we would have to work hard, right, to block out the noise, to appreciate the beauty of a Black woman. No,
Dimitri is a beautiful point. Dimitri, I don't care like you do. I don't care if my children marry Black people. I value Black women. It would be nice, but you're a little more as me. If as a parent, you're focused on, I hope you find somebody who makes you happy. I don't know who that's going to be, but like whoever that is, I'm down for whatever. My kids will still be Black in their marriages, whether or not they're in marriages with or without Black people.
I think the thing about it is, for me, it's not that I would feel a way or it'd be a disservice to me if he did not marry Black. I want to dismiss that narrative as well. The thing about it is, I would just love for him to keep what Black represents alive generation to generation. I think it's something that should be protected. I think there's a power to it, like automatically. And I know like the world tries to diminish it, but there's so much power in just being Black. And also choosing it for myself, there's a relativity that most people don't understand, like the dialect and where we come from and the fight and the, like, there's so much power surrounding a Black woman for that reason. And I got to dismiss that narrative of the idea that I would be unhappy if he married anybody else. For our children, all we want them to receive is love. But I want to speak on how powerful of a sentiment this is for a father to be preaching to his children. Like, that's a very, very beautiful thing. And I think it's super commendable and inspiring to me, because this was a rhetoric that I was always pushing towards my child since he was younger, whether it was just in a form of respect your mother. Like, I never wanted my son's a real daddy's boy, but I never wanted him to shade his mother to any regard. You're going to love this woman, you know what I'm saying, because of the sacrifices she's already made for you, not to mention what she got, what's coming forward. But it's super inspiring and super needed for other young fathers to hear this exact sentiment so they can preach those same notions, maybe not about marrying and who they marry, but specifically about loving Black women.
I want to move on to the politicking segment. The White House has extended the deadline for TikTok, the June 19th deadline for China-based ByteDance to divest from my favorite app, TikTok, has been extended for another 90 days despite a law that mandated a sale or a shutdown. We keep kicking the can forward on TikTok. Let's take a look.
TikTok is safe for now. The video sharing app is getting another 90-day reprieve from President Trump. He's expected to sign an executive order delaying the sell or ban law. That law went into effect in January, which requires TikTok be banned in the U.S. unless it is sold by its China-based parent company. Neither has happened yet since Trump continues to delay the law's enforcement. But now it appears that TikTok has become a bargaining chip in the tense trade talks between the U.S. and China. The app has 170 million users in the U.S.
Lauren, therein we see what's really going on. This is the third time TikTok's shutdown has gotten extended. And we see this dance is happening with ByteDance because Trump is trying to work some trade deal with China. This is the most important trading partner for America in the world. The whole tariff war thing. God, we used to be in a symbolic war. Now we're in a literal war. Like, times have changed, but he won't have the ability to have as much leverage over China if he just shuts TikTok down. So he's kind of stuck.
You just called it. Bargaining power. Got to keep whatever he can. And you know how the world almost turned upside down when they started talking about turning TikTok off. And so he's using it to his advantage. And we know he's got something in mind, exactly what he wants. And until he gets it, we'll just kick the can down the road. At least now it's not going to be this. We've got too many other things to be crazy about right now. So at least, right? It was so crazy. 6 months ago, this was the end of the world. Now this is the least of our worries, right? Mm-hmm. Isn't it crazy how perspective is gained over time?
No, you're right. That when TikTok shut down the first time for about 48 hours, Dimitri, I damn near had a heart attack, and it was like I'm under the bed crying, and my wife was like, "I can't deal with you crying. Figure it out." And it was a mess. It's a mess. But you know, now it's just nothing, and we're in actual war. So
right.
Trump's playing chess with TikTok. You know, it's a lot more than just an app. Like, he knows how to hustle. How we create, and this is what he's doing to put it in faces and saying, I'm giving people what they want. And he's a very strategic man to some degree when he needs to be, when he needs to please to Black voters, more voters in general. But it's definitely chess. This is chess for sure.
I don't think Trump is ever playing chess. I don't think there's really any maybe Steve Bannon, but I don't think Trump is playing chess here. I mean, I just think the mind is too simplistic to do something that complicated. Doc, what do you think's really going on here?
I think it's the same Trump rhetoric. It's power, and he wants to be able to look. He's trying to set himself up. He's strategic. He's trying to make sure that he has power over everything that has power. China's one of them. So he's trying to get in there and bully him, but he can't bully China. So what does he do? He uses one of China's biggest assets, TikTok, to say, listen, you either do this or don't. He just told Iran, if you got 60 days to agree to a peace treaty. If you don't, I'm bombing you. Day number 61, he threw bombs. There's no telling what he told China. And then before he bombed Iran, he should have thought of this China deal he's trying to make, because Iran and China are homies. He should have considered all of this. This is what I mean. He just goes out on a limb and just does all of these things that don't synergize with each other. And then before you know, he's going to pull back on China. And I hope he does not tell China that after July 19, he's going to throw any bombs. I really hope he doesn't go that route, because that would be crazy bananas, besides just shutting down TikTok. But he wants to have the power over TikTok. TikTok is media. We talk about media all the time. If he can get his hands on that, then he doesn't have to call that fake news, because he has control over that media and what it has and what it does and the data that comes behind it. TikTok is one of the biggest global media platforms you can be on. You know it, Torre. You love it. You live there. So Trump wants to have access to those things alongside with the immigrant access of students we talked about. All this is access to a bigger vision of his dictatorship plan that he has to be able to stay in office, run things the way he wants to run them, and have everything be under his control. He does, to your point, Tara, I don't think he's playing chess. He's playing big T and big T, and the only person he wants to win is big T. So every move he's making is with him and him and him. That's extreme narcissism.
Is big T a game in California? I've never heard of that.
Big T is him. Don't worry about it. Just like you didn't know what ISIS was.
But you were saying, well, I know what ISIS is, but I don't know what you mean when you said, but you said chess and then big T. So is big T a game, or you just calling him a name?
If you don't know what big T is, then you know what? You are more low function than I thought you were from that mental health.
But I don't understand.
Big T is Donald Trump. We call him just Big T.
Okay.
Did it go over? Did it go over the CP? It went over the CP curls.
It did go way over the.
Well, you know what? Well, I'm happy you don't understand my lingo, because I don't want you and I to have nothing in common. So the fact that you don't get it actually is a compliment to me. Thank you, Lord.
Well, we're both black and we're both on this show.
I mean, we're both light skinned, whatever.
I'm glad you said it, so I don't have to. Moving on to the main topic, social media has us faking connections and feeling more alone than ever. We are connected 24/7, and nobody's really checking for you inside. We scroll through hundreds of stories, watch my videos on TikTok, post highlight reels, and still go to bed lonely and frustrated. We got followers. I got followers, but we don't feel seen. I definitely don't feel seen. My God, after the last episode, I did not feel seen at all.
God.
Anyway, we got likes and we're still starving for love. What is up with that, Jody? Roll the video.
Hi, I'm Henry, and I want to ask you, how much of your time do you spend alone? I'm not just talking about when you're by yourself. I also want to know how much time you spend surrounded by others, eyes glued to your phones, your focus somewhere else. I'm talking about when you find yourselves alone together. Maybe there was a lull in the conversation, maybe an awkward silence, or you got a text you just couldn't ignore. Well, we're all a little guilty. After all, this is a world designed to exploit our humanity, our need to be accepted and acknowledged. Today, we never have to endure boredom so long as we carry our little magic mirrors everywhere we go. To be alone together is to find a little niche apart from the world, physically separated by inches, but operating in internal spaces miles away. It's a different kind of loneliness, perversion of our human nature, where our desire for togetherness pushes us further and further apart.
Can't stand listening to white people. Back in the day, we had cookouts, block parties, your auntie's phone ringing off the hook. Now we got social media faking connections and having us feeling more alone than ever. So when we're talking to each other and not feeling seen, what is that about? Dimitri, I'm sure you're almost online as I am. Not quite as online, but very online. How do you feel about the way that we are connected and yet not spiritually connected?
I think it's an absolute problem we have in this generation. So in the midst of me becoming popular or whatever happened with my social media, there was a point I reached and I said, it's amazing and quite scary how all these people know my name and they know my life story and they know all these things about me. And I don't know these people. I don't know if you remember Clubhouse story at all, or anybody does, but I jumped on Clubhouse and every 2 weeks, every week to week, we'd have a conversation every Tuesday about life, love, relationships, anything. And it could carried on for a year and a half, absolutely for free. And it built the community. Like, that's why I be going around saying lovers. That's because we actually know each other. And I actually got, in July, I actually have a family function going on here in Chicago. Feel free to pull up if you want to, but it's me. Bouncy houses, barbecue, food trucks, everything in Chicago, like a block party would for everybody who supported me. And I think I've been big on that. Actually learning people outside of social media. We kind of lose the idea of what love actually means. You could see somebody you follow on social media in public and not even speak. Like, both of y'all follow each other and you don't even speak. So what is the notion or how much does a follow actually mean?
That's on her stuff. That's crazy. On my page. I don't. We talk to each other online.
Oh, it's all right.
Dr. B, he threw a shot. I don't know what's going on with him right now. Dr. B, we do have a loneliness epidemic, at least among Black men. A lot of Black men keep saying they feel lonely, and I think a lot of Black women may say that as well. And yet, social media has us more connected than ever, but not to people we have like deep friendships with, but people we have like very loose ties with. So what does that do to our mind and our spirit when we have more connection to people we have loose ties with than deep ties with?
Well, we have more of a superficial connection. That's not a deep connection. It's superficial. It's you like a picture, I like a picture. Hey, sis, this, hey, sis, that. And then people go about their normal lives into their reality. Social media has acted as a good mask for people who are able to go on there and mask the reality that they don't want to live in, mask the issues that they have. It could be depression, anxiety. Studies do show that people who spend more time on social media happen to have a higher and more characteristics of depression and anxiety. And that's because of the lack of true connection, not the superficial connection that comes with it. Really quick, they did a study years ago in China, a group of babies who didn't get touched, didn't get no connection, and a group of babies who did get touch and did get connection. And they showed that the infants who didn't get the touch or the connection, they actually had developmental issues. They didn't develop fast at all, and they lacked in the development. The babies who got touched and got connected to, and they both got fed the same amount of food, they actually grew and they developed at a fast, rapid, or normal pace. So what am I saying is that it's not just a physical development, that's a mental development, an emotional development, where we're talking about emotionalness and mental health. Social media doesn't allow for us to practice and build up our emotional intelligence muscle, to build up our interpersonal relationship skills. So when we're talking about gender wars or people not understanding when we're speaking in the messages that we're saying, social media plays a role in that disconnect of understanding what I heard you say, or me understanding what you heard me say. And so that in itself makes it to when folks go out into the big world, they're at a loss of connection. They're complaining about the dating world. They're complaining about the inability to connect with people romantically. Well, you're not romantically connecting on social media. That's like being on a dating app. All you're doing is having a superficial connection that has no substance. And then you take that learned behavior and try to implement it into a real life relationship. You are screwed. There's no foundation and no substance.
How could somebody purposely not touch a baby? I don't understand that.
It was for a study. I know, it was for a study.
Even for science, that is insanely cruel. I don't know how you could do that. Look, the algorithms don't care about your feelings. They are trying to feed your ego, grab your attention, and drain your soul. You post to feel something, and then that feeling only lasts for a second. And all of this is changing society forever. Let's take a look.
Social media promised to connect us, but for many, it's having the opposite effect. We're more connected than ever, but loneliness is still on the rise. Why? Because likes and comments don't equal meaningful connections. They're the junk food of relationships. They might feel good momentarily, but they don't nourish us. You want to feel more connected? Try this. Next time you're about to scroll, call a friend instead. Real connections happen in real conversations.
So wait, if I were to, Dimitri, help me. If I were to call somebody on the phone, what would then happen?
Call me so we could.
No, but I mean, like I use my phone for TikTok, for Instagram, for texting. Does it actually work as a phone?
Yeah, it does that sometimes when you actually dial.
On and just like that, the Sex and the City reboot that my wife and I love, even though it's a terrible show, Sarah Jessica Parker calls somebody who's about your age, and the person looks at the phone and goes, "Only my grandmother calls me." And we were like, what the fuck is going on? We can't call people anymore. That makes us old because we called somebody.
Yeah, what's amazing to me is it also takes me to the I don't mean to push it off track a little bit here, but in all actuality, it's allowing us to forget what human communication feels like. Like, a lot of men don't know how to communicate with women because they don't get practice in person. Like, it's actually terribly scary. And I'm trying my best to dismiss that narrative so it's not a thing. But like, we're losing sight of the lessons you learn in person as well. Like, oh, I shouldn't be this close to a woman, or I shouldn't do this, or XYZ, or she may not feel comfortable with me buying her a drink, or XYZ, or blah, blah, blah. They're forgetting those things, and that's making human connection very scary.
Lauren, what do you think about how social media has changed the way that we are doing relationships?
I think it's sad. I think it's really damaging. I look at, even through my work on Fraternity Court, We the People, when I'm dealing with relationship issues, right? You'll be so surprised how much social media plays a role in the start of relationships, sliding into the DM, and then the demise of it, right? Something on the story don't look right. This how we catch him. This is this. He on the phone. I see this pop up on the phone. I go into his phone. I mean, it runs our lives, and I watch this play out over and over again. And to Dimitri's point, which I think is so powerful, and I love that he said that, is that we're losing the art of just communicating, learning how to accept rejection. Young men going up and saying, "Hi, what's your name? Is the girl interested or is she not?" If she's not, okay, you learn how to do that, versus being able to become something online that you aren't and sell a whole thing that you can't live up to in person. I'm raising a young Black man in this world, and my son, it bothers me how much he's on his phone for various reasons. I'm grateful that he's an athlete because he has to put down his phone to do that. And I also take it from him physically because everything in his social circle revolves around it. When he's playing a video game, now they don't just play the game together. Yeah. They have an iPad where they're FaceTiming on one device. Yeah. They're playing on one device, and then they're scrolling an app on another device communicating about that. And just yesterday, I just said to him, I'm going to make some adjustments to your Saturday schedule, and we're going to make definite plans with friends, because I didn't like that once all his games were over, I said, do you have plans with friends? It's a Saturday night and you 14, about to be 15. What's the plan? He says, oh, everybody might go to the mall. They might not. Well, what y'all doing? Okay, so then I asked again, am I driving somewhere? What y'all doing? No, we just gonna all go. I said, okay, you can do this Saturday. They all went up in their rooms and got on those phones and those devices. I said, but just know you're not gonna be in this crew. So I advise you next week to come up with a plan, a movie, bowling, golf, putt, something, because your life is not gonna revolve around that. Because my last point is Gen Z is the most depressed generation, they say, we've had in years. And they got supposedly all the connection.
When you take away your child's phone, is it a fight?
No, because he knows now, and it's give me that phone, and he hates it, but he comes
turns it over, right? Because we have a fight when I'm like, there's an argument, there's a excuse, there's a reason, there's a blah, blah, blah. I'm like.
I'm an old Black mama. I'm 55 years old. If you want to play with me about that phone, that'll be the last game you play.
Nice.
So that's
hold on. Let me
also
talk to
don't
Dr.
agree
B,
with my parenting.
Because I do follow you on Instagram, and it's beautiful outfits. It's you and the mayor. It's you behind a lectern. It's you with your gorgeous niece and nephew and all this, and it's a very elevated life. And part of what we're talking about within the way that we share on social, especially Instagram, is about, look how good I'm doing. Everything is very up. It's not your full life. And I wonder, is that what you're trying to communicate? Is that what you think most of us are communicating online, like a sliver of our lives and not giving people really the full of who we are?
Yeah, I first want to say, Truth Tellers, that was a perfect example of the result of gentle parenting with Touré, the kids having resistance, fighting back, and not
She doesn't
gentle
hit her
parenting.
kids either.
I'm not done. Not gentle parenting, authoritative parenting, which my sis Judge Lauren said her son turns over that phone and there's no problem. Now, moving on to Touré's question, because I'm going to clip that out and put that on my social media, y'all. So watch it. Look for it. Now, what I was saying was, this is why I don't believe in gentle parenting. Another episode. But to answer your question, I have a business and I have a brand, but I also allow my viewers to have an insight of my real life. And so I do show stuff like my mom around the yard, or I show myself with no makeup on, and even sometimes, shirt on, but no bra on. And I'm kind of roaming around picking my cherries, and I'm doing the regular things because to your point, Touré, I don't want them to see my social media and feel like they can't reach this pinnacle, or I am not touchable, right? I'm too far over there. And so I try to mix it up, but there are definitely posts that are directly in alignment with my real life. My real life is very, action. There's a lot of lights, camera action, a lot of red carpet, and a lot of behind the scenes. I show me with no makeup on, the glam stuff, the hair stuff, which does look like glitz and glam. But I'm telling you, 90% of the time, I'm complaining about going to damn glam squad. I love my glam squad, but sometimes I don't feel like doing makeup and hair. I know I got to look good for y'all or for other shows I do, but I say that to say I show everything on my page is to show a teaching moment and tips on tools on how do you get to the level of wherever I'm at, whatever that means, if you want a piece of that or if you want all of that. It's not to show a fake part, it's a real part, but I'm not on there looking for a connection. I don't expect a man to find one of my photos gorgeous, go into my DMs, and now I have my Prince Charming husband. I want someone who I meet on a natural connection, who can approach me, who can have a real conversation. And that's why I don't entertain my DMs, because of what all of us are talking about, the superficial connection of you're sliding in my DM, and then when we meet in person, you have no social skills. You can't hold a conversation, or you're having an argument with yourself about a conversation we're having that wasn't even said, or you don't know how to receive and code messages. So now you're lost. So all of that lack of social skills is playing a big role in what you're saying, Touré, people putting up a facade of how they live their life and folks judging themselves based on what they're seeing is causing a really deep rooted depression in people, and folks feeling like they're not good enough when all of us on there got some effed up moments. All of us on there got days and times where we're struggling and we're trying to figure it out. And we don't feel like even doing the damn photo that we posted on our social media. We're not even in the mood to even do that at times.
Dimitri, I appreciate her approach, and a lot of people take that approach. I feel like, at least on my TikTok, which bleeds over to my Instagram, I am trying to tell you who I really am, what I really think, and not necessarily like, here I am, whatever the equivalent of man without makeup would be, but like, this is what I really think about what's really going on in the world. So if you were my friend and we were out having drinks, this is what you would get. This conversation about what's going on with the Black community, with Diddy, with Iran and Israel, whatever. So I feel connected to the people who follow me, who yell at me on the street about that they follow, because you know how I really feel. Do you think that we, in general, are able to make connections with others through social media, or it's all flimsy and making it harder for us to make real life connections?
No, I think you can absolutely make connections with people via social media, but I think to a beautiful connection requires a connection from both ends and not just plugging. Because the thing about it is, you look at, there's different style outlets for a reason. I'm gonna say it like that. There's so many women who can tell you they know me personally, like swear down. Like, you know how many times I heard God sent me to be your wife? Like every other, and I'd be like, everybody be like, you only still single because you have not picked me yet. That everybody says this. And the thing about it is, like, for me, I'm watching it in real time. Someone will DM you, then they'll see you at a show and will not say a word. And then I'll get a DM later in the day and be like, I was just so nervous to say anything. And like, it blows my mind. And then like I love TikTok too, but I'm typically on live if I get on TikTok. But I was gonna show you a video, but I sent it to you guys, but it's a trend going around where if you see somebody you're attracted to, you literally hold your phone, aiming at them, record them, and say, y'all go find this person for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was just part of that trend, and it was like 150,000. And it's funny to me because you were right there in my face. And like, it blows my mind. But this is truly the world we are now living in.
Doc,
people's confidence is behind a camera.
If we want to get to a more IRL, touch grass, in your face, really FaceTime community of like seeing each other, touching each other, being in each other's space, which has so many other things that you can't get telephonically, to use your favorite word. It means putting down that phone and showing up without filters and valuing real deep conversation and listening over content. We've been conditioned to connect through the screens, but the instinct for closeness is still there. We just have to choose it. So what would we have to do as a society to get to a more in-person community than what we have now?
I love what Judge Lauren said. It starts at the parenting level. I think that parents need to be more proactive within their kids' lives and say, hey, listen, there's a time where you can play on these devices, but you also have to get out with real humans, and you have to practice and build your social skills up, your interpersonal relationship skills up, because, you know, real world is going to consist of you dealing with human beings. And I think that if you are not a parent parenting a child and you're just an adult, you have to get into relationships in places where there's normalcy. I know for myself, I either call my best friends and I say, girl, I need some normalcy. And she goes, let's just go for a walk on the beach. And I put my hair in a bird's nest, no makeup, it's just some chapstick, and I'm just gone. Or I put my hair, I just put my hair maniacs up in a thing and go, you know. Or Torre, make sure if you are dating, you're dating someone that you can really be yourself with, authentic. The guy, one of the guys that I'm dating, I will call and go over there, and I will go in a tank top, some leggings, no bra, no makeup, literally. And he always wants to go out to dinner because he thinks that's what I want. And I continuously tell him, I don't want to go out to dinner. You can either order in, but I want to be in the bed watching BMF or watching a YouTube video or with some music in a tank top, no bra, hanging out, no makeup. And I want to just have conversation. I want to just connect. I don't even care about the fancy dinners. I don't care about none of that. I want to feel recharged by you. And when I leave this man, whether it's that night or in the morning, we have had 5-6 hour conversations. We have sat up there and play, fought, and act goofy. And we feel like two 16-year-old high school kids who just had a great time. And so that is what keeps the balance of get you some normalcy and do the normal things. Take off the makeup and the mask if you're a woman. For a man, take off the hat and the glasses or whatever you're doing, the Gucci belt or whatever you got going on, and go spend time with people you can be butt naked externally with and internally with your clothes on, of course, but have a real relationship and connect where you don't have to have up the facade or the mask.
Are you talking about sort of getting away from the sort of social paralysis we have now, not isolation by accident, but disconnection by design? Like, is that what you're talking about?
Absolutely. And unfortunately, love what you said, Torre. You do have to design your connection, your real connections with people. Like, I literally have to check myself. Like, I have to, like how Judge Lauren is parenting her son because he's 14 and that's her role as a young child with limited insight. I have to judge Lauren myself and say, Cheyenne, tonight you are going to go have a glass of wine. Tonight, you're going to go have dinner with your family. Tonight, you are going to go spend time with your guy that you're dating and enjoy his time and space. And I have to tell myself, no makeup, just some gloss. Leave your hair alone. Leave the earrings out. I have to tell myself, go enjoy your pool that you have, this big, beautiful pool you have in your backyard. Put a bikini on. Don't worry about how you look. My mom has to tell me, girl, take them earrings off when you're getting in the pool. Ain't nobody looking at you. But that's still my mama pulling a Judge Lauren and still parenting me saying, baby, you off today. We're not doing that. At my grown 42-year-old age, she's still parenting me saying, we're not doing that.
We love your mom. I just want to deal with, Lauren, some of the social paralysis that folks are feeling in a world where the online really gets in the way of interpersonal connections. And when we talk about social paralysis, I mean like a state where you feel unable to engage with people socially, where you can't form meaningful connections. You are paralyzed socially. So you may have like lost your social skills when we relate to each other one way online. We relate to each other a different way in the real world. And if you don't brush up your skills, small talk is valuable to beginning a connection with another person. Then we have a much deeper connection, a deeper conversation. If we don't practice those skills, they kind of erode. So the online overfocus is kind of creating this social paralysis.
Absolutely. We're losing our social skills. We're losing our speaking skills. We're losing our writing skills, right? Everything has become this quick shorthand, and it's not working for us. And what I also find fascinating is as I'm looking now, I see how many adults now are paying to go to like adult day camps where they run around and jump on trampolines and get in the grass, or they go to wineries, or they go to fields and they want to pick things in the garden. We're doing that because we know we've gone too far in this. And it's not just about 14-year-olds. It's also about grown adults that do not know how to do this. And then listen, it's in our relationships as well, because since we don't know how to socialize and talk and speak and problem solve and deal with adversity, now in our relationships, we can't get over humps. We don't know how to negotiate our way through problems and relationships. We're losing all the way around. And I don't know how to minimize it because so much of our lives and our work revolve around us being online. I have a thing with my son too. Just because I pick up my phone doesn't mean you need to pick up yours, because I can see him. If I need to pick up my phone to take a call and we're talking or we're cooking something or we're doing something together, he will pick up his phone. No. I'm working, or either I'm on my phone as an adult. That doesn't mean you need yours in your hand. It's such a go-to now that we don't even know how to turn it off.
You have 3.8 billion subscribers on the paternity court?
On the paternity court page.
Million.
Yes.
4 million, which is incredible. I wonder if you feel like you could go a month without social media and feel
I could go the rest of my life. I don't care anything about it. I don't care anything.
Do you have a phone addiction yourself at all?
No, I don't. I have a phone. What I have is an addiction. What I'm learning is, because I don't love the phone. I mean, people laugh at me. I keep my phone on silent. I don't even want the vibrate. The dinging irks me. I can't. I want to use it when I want to use it, but I don't want it to use me. Mm-hmm. And that's how I feel sometimes with people's constant desire to be in touch with me, or think, if they call me and I don't pick up, then they can text me. Well, I didn't answer your call. I don't want to return your text.
Lauren, I told you I'm sorry, okay? Jesus Christ, I'm just trying to get in touch with you.
But let me say this as well. Let me really keep it real. I have been in relationships, like my last relationship, where the gentleman was very disgusted with how much I'm on my phone. Mm-hmm. And I said, but my business requires me to be on my phone. It's not just taking calls from my agent or the studio. It's also social media, returning comments to my followers, going live, checking on the whole world now is here, and I don't like it. So if we could go back now and erase this, I know it helps people a lot with livelihood and health. I mean, our show now is on YouTube, but I wish there was another way we could do this, because I think we're killing ourselves.
Dimitri, I want first to say that the online world is a real place. The internet is a real place, which a lot of people my age and don't agree with. So I'm trying to be a little, but I do believe that. But look, I feel like the phone and social media in general may be helping us tell our stories, or it may be preventing us from living them. Like I just did a TikTok with my wife where we went together to vote, and we always go together to vote every year. And so this year, Thank you. And this year I'm like recording it and make a little narrative video out of it. And she was totally into it. But the moment became about me getting the shots. And normally we'd be walking down the street talking, but I'm thinking, let me get the shot. Let me get the shot. Let me get the shot. So I'm making a film and we're not really talking. We're talking about the video, but not really talking the same. And I'm like, so it helped me tell the story and everybody saw this cute moment we had together. But at the same time, we weren't really in the moment because I was kind of in the making of the video in TikTok world rather than fully just putting it away and being with her. So like to the point of like, does it help us tell our stories or prevent us from actually living our lives?
You know, I think it does both. I think it does both. And I'd be crazy to sit and say it doesn't help us tell our stories when so many people love me and know me for mine. That's crazy for me to say. But to a degree, sometimes I wish I was actually in my teens in the 90s to hear the stories that your parents actually lived and they did this and they did that. We ain't doing that because we too worried about what's going on over here, or you know what I'm saying? No, thinking we're missing out if we don't pull up to this party or if we don't do this or we don't do that. So the thing about it is, I think it actually does both. But to Judge Lauren Lake's point, I hate having my phone in my hand. Like I cannot stress it to you enough. I hate it. Ever since social media has become, the job, I put my phone down more. And people wonder why I don't answer. I don't see it. You wonder why I don't text back. I don't see it. If I'm ever on a date, my phone is nowhere in sight. If I'm ever just hanging out with my friends, my phone is nowhere in sight. I used to go on vacation a lot. I went to Puerto Rico and Jamaica and all these places. I've never taken a single picture. Why? Because I'm big on living in that moment. Like this, I understand you want to recap on it when you later in life, but I'll never get this moment again. And I think we don't.
Nobody want to hear all that. How you're all good on the phone. Nobody want to hear all that. I'm addicted, like most people. I'm my nose in the phone all day long. Nobody want to hear how you're good on the phone and you're good with your kid and you're good for your mom. Dimitri always doing so good. Damn, you make me sick. You go to church like every day and shit. Like, you make me sick. Okay? I'm just gonna say that.
You know, the only thing he has to work through that he's in denial of is the mommy issues. Okay.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, here you go. Here you go. Here you go.
Got it back in.
Oh my God.
The 1-2 punch.
Oh my God.
Hey, Torrey, I called my mother after the episode.
It wasn't funny the first time.
I called my mama after the episode. I say, Mom, you know I love you, right?
Hey, but tell your mama I said hi because your mama loves me too. Okay, and I love her. But that don't mean you ain't got to work on their mommy issues.
Look, talking about love, we show love in the DMs, we repost, react. But when it's time to pull up in real life, to sit with somebody's pain, to check on a brother face to face, that is hard. It's a lot harder. Too many of us go ghost. We have to get down to real emotional work because it's hard. So I'm asking you right now, I'm challenging you. What would it look like if you showed up with the same energy offline that you show up online? If social media is where we tell all our stories, then real life is where we live them. So log off with intention, be like Dimitri, call real people, check in, touch grass, hug people, create space. Community is not built with likes.
Wait, just don't call Judge Lawrence because she don't want to talk to you.
I know, right?
I won't hear me.
Hey, Dimitri, especially when I'm sad, I'm not calling Judge Lauren. All right, we're out of here. That's our show for tonight. Like, comment, and subscribe at TruthTalks-Live. Watch us simulcasting right here on the Black Star Network after Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support Black media. Cheyenne, tell them how to do it.
And listen here, y'all have already been doing it. You've been cash apping us, and we love you. We see you, and we appreciate you, and we hold space for your emotions if need be. But we want you to continue to cash app us because, as y'all know, if there's no you, there's definitely no us. And that is the best way to keep our show rocking and rolling and to make sure you're not silencing the Black voice. We are global news with the Black voice. And so we need you to cash app. We need you to support. We need you in the comments. We need you in the chat. And, again, you can cash app and put in that little memo that's up there. You can say, this is to tie directly to Dr. B. You can put that too, and I'll make sure the EPs get it directly. Ain't nobody worry about you, Torrey. Make sure they get that cash app directly to the doc. So cash app is down there, y'all. Support us, cash app us, and thank you to the people who have already been supporting us. We love you.
Not a direct payment opportunity for
Cheyenne.
Okay. You can also support us by advertising with Truth Talks and reach the over 10 million people who come watch this show in the online space. Small businesses and influencers partner with us by visiting TruthTalksLIVE.com. Next week, Ebony K. Williams and Ryan Cameron. We'll be back every night, 8 p.m. on the East Coast, 8 p.m. on the West Coast, so Cheyenne can find us. It's got to be on the same time so she can figure it out. We'll be back. If your Truth Talks family will be back next week.
And guess what? This week, y'all, is the last chance you get to watch us on Instagram Live. So make sure when we're on our Instagram Live, or go find us on YouTube, go to our YouTube. We want you to watch us live on our YouTube. So again, last chance you get to watch us on our IG Live. Go over to our YouTube channel where it's still live. You just get to go in the chat and talk with everyone live and be on fire with the chat. And guess what? Y'all can also use our PayPal and scan the code so that you can contribute to the Truth Talk Avengers and the Truth Talk family.
The whole show, not her specifically.
Well, technically.
Technically what?
If they put Doc in the memo.
No, that's not.
I have already told our EPs, Jody and Lloyd, that they put Doc in that memo. It's going to Doc's campaign.
It works like that.
That's who I'm going to share it with. Not your black ass and not Dimitri black ass, because y'all done got on my nerves. I'm sharing it with Judge Lauren, my sis. That's what it is.
None of your sharing.
No space for black men.
Wait, Dimitri.
Protecting the black man again. Look at that.
Wait, Dimitri.
Look at that.
They can love bomb me and Judge with that CashApp, but we ain't gonna give no bombing to y'all. We good.
We left out again, Dimitri.
Don't start crying.
We don't want no crybabies.
Don't start crying.
We cry babies again. I'm out of here, man.
Wait, Judge Lord, we got rid of him. Exactly what? Oh, damn, he's back. He was gone.
Hey, listen, I just want to say good night, everybody. It
was
a pleasure.
I'm here under protest.
To go find some resolve and wipe them tears somewhere. Work on that.
Oh, God, I'm sorry. I made myself cry. That was so
good. On that note, Demetrius gonna work through his trauma, his mommy issues. Torre's gonna work on his parenting. And we will see y'all another night. We love y'all.
Love y'all.